Okay, well, welcome to week number 5 of your Success and Happiness Mindset Program. Can you blinking believe that we are on week 5? Absolutely amazing. We are officially halfway through. So let's get started. So just as a quick recap, I'm hoping that you have caught up to date if you've maybe missed a couple of the weeks on week 1 to 4, because we are officially on week 5, which is all about feel-good foods, emotional eating. We're going to be looking at the brain and basically the stomach connection, and evening routine. So this is what we're going to be covering this week. So I'm going to invite you now to turn to page number 1 in this week's workbook. And I'm just going to kind of have a little bit of a read through it with you, and then kind of add in some of the little juicy bits and bobs for you. So your mind and body is made up of what you feed it. Not only the information and environmentally, but the food and drink that you consume. So how does the brain use food as energy? Well, the brain is an energy-hungry organ. I like to sort of try and think of it like that it's constantly wanting whatever you put into it. And despite compromising only 2% of the body's weight, the brain gobbles up more than 20% of your daily energy intake. The foods that you consume greatly affect the brain function, including everything from learning and memory to emotions. So basically, everything that you put into your mouth, you consume, that begins to filter through and helps to create and level your emotions, your memory, and everything down to your learning, even down to how you function throughout the day in terms of walking, everything. So studies suggest, so here we go. So just like other cells in the body, brain cells use a form of sugar called glucose to fuel cellular activities. This energy comes from food that you consume daily and is regularly delivered to the brain cells called neurons. So I sort of tried to find a bit of an image to represent the neurons through the blood. So if you imagine that everything that you eat, like we've just said, is directed straight to your brain cells through your blood and helps to form the neurons. Studies suggest that the quality of food consumed over a lifetime affects the structure and function of the brain. For instance, the consumption of omega-3 fatty acids found in fish provides structural material to maintain neurons. That's like one example. We are going to delve into omega-3s very shortly. So in contrast, foods that are rich in sugars, saturated fats, have been proven to promote oxidative, I can never say that word, sorry guys, oxidative stress, which leads to damage of the cell's membrane. So the sugars and fatty foods, basically all the crap that we found when it comes to pretty much fast food, anything that's pre-made, actually promotes the stress, which leads to damage of the cell's membrane. So the way that we kind of see it, imagine if you were to think, right, I'm going to treat myself to something. This is something that we're going to come on to when it comes around to language. But if you think of treating yourself to something, what we're actually doing is technically the complete opposite to that. We're almost damaging our brains. So it's an entire flip of perception around food, rather than it being something that we treat ourselves or use as a social thing. We're actually going to start to look at food as fuel. So coming back to your workbook, how the food affects how you feel. So serotonin is a transmitter that helps regulate sleep, appetite, controls your mood, and even your pain receptors. Since around 95% of your serotonin is produced in your gastrial tract, i.e. the gut, and your gut is aligned with 100 million nerve cells or neurons, it makes sense that your inner workings of your digestive system don't just help to digest your food, but also helps to guide your emotions. So we could literally do an entire day on this stuff, but can you give me a big yes if the pieces of the puzzle are really starting to fit together with this? That what we basically get taught at school isn't always correct. Yes, we get taught to eat our 5 fruit and veg a day and all of this lot, but actually the direct correlation between your stomach and gut lining is where your serotonin is produced, and also the good rich foods, the good foods that we feed ourselves, actually help the motor neurons in our brain. The not so great foods actually can cause damage. So that was a bit of a summary there for you. We've got yes, 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 fantastic. Okay, so recent studies suggest that lifestyle choices that affect the metabolism of nerve cells, such as diet and exercise, may in some cases have an effect to the strategy and basically cognitive disorders. So I'm going to sort of, again, try and sum this up. So even in our lifestyle choices, such as smoking, drinking, food, if we exercise or not, actually have a direct effect on our cognitive disorders. What I mean by cognitive disorders is anxiety. Obviously illnesses as well, such as diabetes, high blood pressure, stroke, all of the things that we would put underneath the illnesses. But when we say cognitive disorders, also learning disorders and anxiety and depression have been directly linked to that of our food and fuel consumption. So I don't want to go, I could literally, okay, I'm just going to quickly share this with you very, very quickly, because I like to try and paint a bit of a picture as a metaphor. So if we see that, like an expensive car, your brain functions best when you give it premium fuel. So eating high quality foods that contains lots of vitamins, minerals and antioxidants nourish your brain and protect it from the oxidative, I can never say it, guys. You could, I don't know, this is the dyslexia kicking in, but the oxidative stress. I'm sure you know what I mean by this. I've been trying to say this word in presentations for about 4 years now. Still can't do it. The waste, as we would say, free radicals produced when the body uses oxygen, which can damage the cells. So basically, we're protecting ourselves from that stress hormone, is what we're trying to say. Unfortunately, just like an expensive car, your brain can be damaged if you ingest anything other than premium fuel. So if substances from like the low premium fuel, such as what you get from processed or refined foods get into the brain, it has little ability to get rid of them. Does this make sense? Diets that are high in refined sugars, for example, are harmful to the brain. In addition to worsening your body's regulation of insulin, they also promote inflammation and stress. Multiple studies have shown a correlation between a diet that's high in refined sugars and impaired brain function, and even a worsening of symptoms of mood disorders such as depression. So that's as deep as I'm going to go, because I've actually made so many different notes on this, because there's so much that we could get into. But oxidative, thank you for that. Thanks, love. For some reason, when it's an I and a D, and it just completely throws me. There's a few words in there, but thank you. I needed the little breakdown. Love you. So what we're going to do now is move on to the next page. Because we've basically just been over how your food has a direct correlation between your brain function, illnesses, disorders, and also the emotional drives in the stomach producing serotonin. So we're going to be moving on now to, I've put a little disclaimer here, consult with your doctor if you are on any specific diets or prescriptions if you want to introduce anything that's recommended. Please note, this is not medical advice. I wanted to write it and I wanted to say it. So this is all very much down to your decision if you take any of this on board. It's the same with the mental health stuff as well, but I wanted to really, really sort of stress this. I'm glad to hear that, Em. That's really, really cool. Do ask any questions throughout if you have any that are specific to this that you feel would help the rest of the group. So we're going to have a look now. Vitamins and supplements. These are the 4 key ones that I recommend you taking if you want to really help to balance out your hormones, regulate a balance in the brain, and also to promote gut health. So I am going to briskly whiz through these. I am going to recommend that you do your own research around these. Don't just take mine as gospel truth. These are what I did back in the day when I studied nutrition, and also what I have found that works for me and also works for clients. So vitamin B12. It is an essential vitamin that your body needs, but your body cannot produce it. I remember this blowing my mind. So it needs B12, yet we can't actually produce it. It's found in a lot of animal products. So for those that are vegetarian, vegan, I am going to say this is an absolute must if you don't have a lot of animal products in your diet. But even if you do eat animal products, I'm actually going to go as far as saying, unless they're organic and unless they are like pure meats and good whole dairy foods, I'm still going to suggest that you take vitamin B12. What it does is boost your energy. It also helps to improve your memory, and also can help to prevent heart disease. Vitamin B12 for me, when I first turned vegan, I did 2 weeks of vegan back in the day, and I didn't take it. I just kind of always presume I'm a bit of a superwoman. I don't need that. I just didn't take it. My brother recommended that I did. And by about day 12, the fatigue that came over was ridiculous. So I massively learned the hard way. And then over Christmas, as a vegetarian, I just ran out or forgot or whatever it was. And again, I remember being like, holy crap, why do I feel so tired? To the point where it's like a physical fatigue. And took some vitamin B12, bam, straight back up. So I've been vegan now for 3 weeks, over 3 weeks, in fact. My God, it must be like 3 to 4 weeks. And vitamin B12 is a part of my every single day diet. So I am going to suggest that you do take a B12 supplement. Please look into this yourself when it comes to how much that you take. Again, I'm only offering advice here. When I went vegan, I almost lost my mind. Yeah, absolutely. Aloe vera is the only plant that naturally contains B12. I did not know this. Again, it's something that I personally drink is aloe vera most days. I'm going to say most days. A probiotic, okay? So probiotics are basically good bacteria that helps to maintain your digestive system and boost your immune system. So those are the 2 things that we want in our everyday life. We want to have a good digestive system. We want to be going to the toilet every single day. If you are watching this now, and yes, I'm going to talk about poo, and you are thinking, oh, well, crap, I don't go to the toilet every single day. This is going to be your main priority to work out what's going to help you to go regularly. I don't care if we're talking about poo and it embarrasses people. One of my closest friends, age 30, stage 4 bowel cancer. I will talk about poo all day long if needs be. But imagine your body, if it's storing those toxins and it's storing that waste, we need it to be flowing through. And probiotics is a great thing for that healthy gut bacteria. I'll stop talking about poo now. But you can take them as a dietary supplement, but also get them from food sources, such as yogurt. So a probiotic yogurt, a little shot, or you can even get little sachets that you add to, say, your lemon water in the morning. Again, find your own thing online. I will happily share some links if you like. Let me know in the comments if you would like me to share the links to maybe a couple of things. You can have a little bit of a look yourself then. Yes, again, if I'm honest, aloe vera I built a huge business around this, like over the past sort of 4 years, let's say, because it's literally a medicine plant. So I would always actually recommend aloe vera in everyone's diet. Anti-inflammatory, it's blinking amazing. Right, cool. I will share some of the stuff that I personally take. But again, have a look online. You might find it cheaper. You might want a more expensive one, whatever works for you. Omega-3 fatty acids. Now, you can take these as a capsule, or you can also get them from natural fish. Now, I'm going to suggest that if you are going to have fish, you go to a fishmonger's and get it fresh from there. At least you're kind of supporting that thing. It's not come from a little tin or anything like that. And what you tend to find is if you're buying cheap fish or cheap meat, they will have been pumped full of antibiotics. So I used to be pescatarian. This is something that I now take as a capsule. Omega-3 fats have been shown to prevent heart disease and stroke, and also control lupus, eczema, rheumatoid arthritis, and may also play roles in preventing cancer and other conditions. So omega-3 fatty acids, I'm going to very quickly share something else as well. So I went to a health talk last year, and a guy that had written, it was about 30 books. It was something, I think it was about 33 books. It was something ridiculous. And this was all basically around the power of omega-3 and dietary stuff and all of this lot. And one thing that he actually shared, and I'll very quickly share it with you guys because you can make your own assumptions on this, but basically omega-3 fatty acids that come from fish or whatever else is directly linked to preventing, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. I can't believe I'm going to bloody do this. Preventing things like memory loss. I can't even remember the freaking name. I knew I should have written this bit down, but I thought it would just flow. Memory loss and Alzheimer's. I bet you sat there bloody laughing now. Alzheimer's, all of those things that are around our cognitive mind. The reason being why many suppliers such as AstraZeneca, the pharmaceutical companies, don't promote this is because it's very, very hard for them to make an income because it's a natural thing. They don't have to sit and physically form it. I did get a little bit of an inside loop actually from a lady that used to work at AstraZeneca. They are now doing a lot of studies around omega-3 and fish oils. But prior to this, it was never recommended purely because government can't make money from it. I'm just going to leave that there. You make your own decisions on it. But it's definitely something that I recommend. And vitamin B6. So along with all the other vitamin Bs, this helps to turn food into energy. On its own, vitamin B6 has many other uses that are important to maintaining a healthy body and developing a healthy brain. Vitamin B6 is also important as it may have triggered the growth, I love this fact, of the first living creatures on Earth. When they have done all of the scientific studies, they've actually linked it back to vitamin B6 being one of the first triggers that has provided the growth of life on Earth. Enough said. Like, that's like a mic drop moment, isn't it? So vitamin B6 is phenomenal for you. They make more money from us being ill. Absolutely. And I can't even go down that route, but yes. So those are the 4 simple things that I recommend. Now, we get told to take vitamin C, to do this, take capsules, do this. Vitamin C, we actually get a lot in what we tend to eat. And actually, our body can easily function without vitamin C. But again, what is one of the easiest things? I put this up so it sort of triggered a memory. Vitamin C is something that's very good for us, but they can market it very well because they can actually reproduce it a lot. What I would basically suggest is, now we move on to the feel-good foods, is if you focus on what is called an alkaline high diet or lifestyle, let's say. So because our bodies are alkaline, they are literally alkaline. And what you will find is majority of the crap that we ingest is actually acid. or it begins to promote an acid effect in our stomach. Therefore, imagine, I think I've already discussed this, but imagine that our bodies has got tiny, tiny little antibodies in it. And every time we have high sugar, or every time we have a real fatty dinner or carbs or something like that, our body has to go into attack to remove what we don't want from it. And whilst it's doing that, if we're in a high stress environment, or if we're thinking a lot and bringing on a lot of stress, or suffering from anxiety or depression, or already an illness, our body is that focused on trying to fight off all of the nastiness that's in the body, that actually that's where disease begins to take over. It gets into the little nooks and crannies, and our body is like on high alert, constantly in that oxidative stress place, basically. So if you see it that you want your body to mainly be fueled from an alkaline point of view. Now, I am actually just going to give you, yay, thank you. I'm going to give you a little top tip as well. And again, I'll share this in the group. But I would suggest, if you don't already, invest in a jug that is an alkaline water filter. So if I haven't already mentioned this is something I'm very, very passionate about, but I would suggest that you start to drink, feed your family it, I give Stanley it, alkaline water. It basically gets rid of all the crap and actually alkalines out your water. Now, I haven't added this in here. This is just like a little bit of a bonus, so make a note if you like. If it's not for you and you want to carry on drinking tapped or filtered water, I absolutely fine. This is just something I'm very passionate about. So here is a list of some feel-good foods. So I'm just going to pick a few little random ones from here. Now, you may be looking at those and going, hell yeah, that is pretty much my regular diet. But I'm going to suggest that you take a screenshot of this or take a picture of it. And when you go to do your shop, these are basically what you build your shop around. Now, again, these are pretty much, say, like 20 of the ones that I suggest. If you were to go onto Pinterest or Google and basically type in alkaline foods, put as many of those into your shopping trolley as physically possible. The answer is yes, lemon does help to alkaline your body. This is why first thing in the morning, in last week's, I suggest that on an empty stomach, you squeeze half a lemon into a glass of water, ideally alkaline water, and you drink that. Either or, hot or cold, whatever's good for you. If I'm honest, I even use my alkaline jug water when I'm boiling my water for a tea, coffee, or herbal tea. I will still do that. And I figured if I'm bloody drinking it, my husband should. Guests that come round, clients that come round, I'll make sure that they drink alkaline water. And Stanley even drinks it now because I'm like, he's family. So Brazil nuts. Here's a great little thing. It only takes 3 Brazil nuts to get your daily recommendation of I don't want to say I can never say it. Selenium. Selenium. Yeah, it's selenium. So you can have these as a mid-morning snack with, say, a banana. That helps to average out or even out your spike in insulin from the banana. It's very high in iron and potassium. And the Brazil nuts help to sort of regulate your blood glucose there. But just from 3, have a little Google if you want to know more about the selenium, but you will actually get 3, your daily recommendation. So I would suggest buying a big bag of Brazil nuts, set them to one side, know that you can have those 3. That's going to really, really help your body. Mackerel, or 140 gram serving of something like, I think I've put it here, yes, salmon or a high oily fish such as mackerel. Oats. Absolutely fantastic for you. Very, very low in saturated fats, but great for your metabolism, great for energy. There is slow release in carbs. Pumpkin seeds, sprinkle in some pumpkin seeds on top of if you're having a curry, on top of your porridge, on top of salads, on top of soups. If you're looking at them and thinking, oh, I'm not a big veg fan, see if you can make some homemade soups. If you are a quick out the door in the morning, make a smoothie of some kind, but really, really try to kind of mix and match some of these. Lentils are a complex carbohydrate. So just like bananas, they help to increase the brain's production of the feel-good neurotransmitter serotonin. This results in a calmer, happier state of mind with less anxiety. So adding lentils to your soups and stews, introducing lentils into your diets. They also help to stabilize your blood sugar levels, which is fantastic. Spinach. This is something that I would recommend getting spinach every single day if you can into your diet. I challenge you this week to see if you can ingest spinach every single day. Here's what I do. Smoothies, omelets, not anymore, but in anything that you cook off or fry. If you're making like yesterday I made some veggie sausages with like mushrooms and peppers and onions, pesto and tomato. I put a big handful of spinach, let it all wilt down. If you're having beans on toast, wilt some spinach. If you're like, just try to squeeze spinach, like see that as your daily task. The reason being is a handful of spinach provides nearly 30% of your daily recommendation of B vitamins. So add it to stir fries, soups, salads, lettuce, butties, anything that you can. Yeah, absolutely blend it into anything. Ginger, here's a final one for this. Ginger is amazing as an anti-inflammatory, helps the gut as well. It's also an alkaline food. Pretty much everything that I've written down on there just so happens to be an alkaline, high alkaline food, but is also a feel-good food in terms of when it reaches your stomach, it actually produces the serotonin. So even if you're thinking chocolate makes me feel good, crisps make me feel good, chips make me feel good, that's like a trained emotional habit. If we were to honestly turn and say, I'm going to have some bananas on porridge, like that instead of a bag of crisps or something, will be so much better for you, and you will literally get the same dose of serotonin. Some fresh pineapple with some dried cranberries on top, some carrot and parsnip soup, some frozen blueberries or banana and peanut butter on, you know, the little oat cakes, the little dried oat cakes. They're so good for you. I could drink lemon and ginger tea for the morning drink. Absolutely. Like, experiment with all of these. So moving on next, very quickly. So how to live a feel-good lifestyle. This is not about diet, people. I'm going to recommend that you limit alcohol to a couple of times a week if you do enjoy a drink. Eat natural whole foods. The more that you can bring your diet to the 80-20 rule. So 80% whole foods, 20% what the hell you want. Like, literally go crazy, order a takeaway, eat your chocolate, do whatever you need to do. But as long as you're getting that balance of the 80% whole foods, that's what you want to be doing. Starting your day with a balanced breakfast. Create a healthy eating plan for the week ahead. So again, feel free to write down any notes, but I would recommend that on a Sunday or the beginning of the week that you write down, at least for the next 3 days, what meals you're going to have as your main meals. So whether that's if you've got a family, your evening meals, but food prepping for the week ahead is massively going to help you in staying on that balance. Get an accountability buddy and get the family on board if you can. So I'm going to suggest that if you want to, you can find an accountability buddy in the Route 66 group. If for this week, hang on, I need to breathe. So if for this week you're like, right, I want to do some food prep, I want to be sticking to the 80-20 rule, and you want to do it with a buddy, Post in the group after this and say, okay, I'm looking for an accountability buddy. You never know. Someone else might be like, yes, I've got such a similar goal. Or write it in the group chat. Just say, if anyone does want to do an accountability thing for the next week ahead for anything specific with regards to food, you can always, I can either put you into a group chat after or add them on Facebook, whatever, just make connection with people. Limit intake of trigger foods. We're going to come on to this shortly. And just very simple, don't store unhealthy foods in your home. Now, I can instantly guarantee that people are going, well, I've got kids and my husband likes to eat shit and this and that. But the truth is like where you are right now is exactly where your family will be in however many years' time if they're not already. Because we are a direct result of the people that we most spend time with, especially if we're feeding them and leading by example. And secondly, that our environment shapes us. So rather than seeing it as something that is tight on them or restricts them, see it as you can make this fun. Like have homemade pizza nights, get some tortilla wraps and get the kids involved. Try making courgette rather than spaghetti. Like get the family involved and see it as you're experimenting. Make some homemade blueberry muffins that has got like whole grains in rather than full of crap. Like it sounds a bit preachy, but I can't tell you what to do. This has only got to be inspired action. Only you can be inspired by knowing the facts that the crap that we ingest, actually our brain can't get rid of it, hence the brain fog, hence the diseases, hence the mishaps in our mind that happen is a direct result of the food that we ingest. Like this week is purely focused around that. Obviously we've got environment, we've got self-talk, we've got beliefs, but this week is purely based around this. So can I get a big yes if we are taking this on board and thinking, okay, I'm going to shake my shit up. This is what I'm all about. By whole foods, do you mean natural foods? Yes. And preferably, I'm thinking, the feel-good alkaline foods. Sorry if that's dash question. I've spent years of yo-yo diet. Yes. So whole foods mean basically things that you don't buy from a packet. So some people literally, and I've worked with so many different families in particular, that will see whole foods as things like carbs such as super noodles or packet noodles or like lasagnas that are like pre-made and stuff like that, because it feels wholesome. But when we say whole foods, yes, I mean like natural foods from the ground, natural foods that actually have substance to it. Basically, if you can pick it from a tree, pluck it from the ground, or it's grown or reared or anything like that, then that's what you want to be basing 80% of your lifestyle around. Oh, honestly, guys, if you think it's a daft question, ask it, because I can guarantee it's not. And there may be someone else thinking it. A tip I've seen somewhere is to have a rainbow chart on the fridge. Yes. Everyone in the family ticks what colours they have eaten that day. The person who has eaten the most colours wins. Love that. Yes, that's great if you've got children. Absolutely. You can even buy plates. Let me just time check. You can even buy plates that have got ready measured out carbs, greens, and proteins. Highly, highly recommend doing that. So must-haves. Let's fly through these. Breakfast. Like, I can't say anything other than you must or should have breakfast. Like, that is just absolute. Imagine, so breakfast stands for break fast. You've been fasting all night. Your body is dehydrated, your stomach will have shrunk, but imagine it as like a little inferno. As we put the fuel in, the coal in, bam, that starts. So you must be eating something. Scrap off cereal bars. If there's anything that, this is just my top tips now. If you lean on cereal bars first thing in the morning, you might as well be grabbing a load of sugar, mixed with some glucose and a little bit of cereal, because they literally kickstart they kickstart your metabolism. It's better to probably have that than nothing, but you'd be much better grabbing a banana, or you'd be much better grabbing a little pot of the porridge to go, something that's going to be getting you. And don't just fall into, remember, again, you'll hear me say this so much, that society has dragged us into this way of, if it has breakfast written on it, then it's healthy to have for a breakfast. But to be fair, sorry guys, I'm going to swear, but it's bollocks, because it's a big thing for them to make more money. Big thing for them to make more money. So like, you will literally have a look in my fridge, and some mornings, if I'm running in after a class, or if I'm about to start a client meeting early or something like that, I will have pre-cooked sweet potato and some fruit for breakfast. If it's something that's already pre-made, this is why I've put the little picture up for you. This is why prepping your food is so important. If I find, like, breakfast doesn't just have to be what we got brought up to be breakfast. Does that make sense? Doesn't have to be toast. Doesn't have to be sugary cereals. It can be whole foods. Think of food as fuel, but you must be having something for breakfast. I eat salad and eggs. Absolutely. I used to literally boil eggs, keep them on the top shelf of the fridge, and just grab them on the go. Lunch, we want to be having this. Would, if you're really wanting to like level out this, any yo-yo diet and anything like this, if you want to switch your habits around food, this is what I would suggest doing. Your lunch being your biggest meal of the day. Okay, so your lunch being, or your most wholesome meal of the day, doesn't have to be the biggest, but your most wholesome meal of the day. And your dinner actually being a slightly lighter meal. If you were to sort of average around 6 to 800 calories for your dinner, and then having healthy snacks in between. So remember, as a female, we want to be averaging around the 2,000 calorie mark. I'm not a calorie counter, far from, but if you do want to like really maintain that health, I'm going to suggest apps such as MyFitnessPal, or if you've got a Fitbit, you can also track your food intake on there. Snacks, plan ahead, fresh fruit, nuts, dark chocolate, yogurt, protein shakes, anything like that. So I'm going to suggest that right now we move straight onto the questions. So I'm going to go through these with you very briefly. Fill them out now, or let's go through and then you can come back to them. I wanted to kind of really get into what we've just been discussing there. Let me just have a little look. Okay, so before we do, I'm just going to quickly touch on emotional eating. So if you start to see that everything that you do around your food to this day is of a habit, you may have been sucked into, absolutely with you on this, the yo-yo dieting, that if you're not following a plan, you're not on anything. But I would suggest that you start to see if you can begin to rewire that belief in your mind and see it that society is out to make freaking money from you. Because every time you're following a diet or a plan, someone's making money from you. And see it as you got to trust yourself. Trust that you are now like a giant experiment, that you are going to aim, that your goal isn't to just have a lower number or a smaller number on your waist belt or whatever else, but actually your number one goal is to have a great energy and vibrant skin and healthy nails and free from illnesses and diseases. Like, hallelujah, is that not our life goal? Like, give me a yes if you see this, that this should be. I swear that there's a book in this. If we can all do this, because this is something that I'm personally massively working on still to this day, using the power of affirmations, the power of tuning in and using your intuition, your inner guide, and asking body, what do you want? What do you need? Rather than thinking, well, it's 8 o'clock, something's about to come on TV. This is where I grab a bag of crisps. Or I feel emotional, therefore I crave sugar, or I crave carbohydrates, or I crave, it's a complete habitual loop. And then we gorge all weekend. I'm not, when I say we, this is some people, I'm also speaking from my past experience here, but we can gorge all weekend knowing that when Monday comes around, that's it, restriction, back to it, I'm going to do this, do that. And that actually becomes the habit, that becomes the lifestyle, that becomes the diet. Whereas if we just see it as simple, and actually it doesn't have to be hard work, it doesn't have to be like gorging, or it doesn't have to be lacking so many things. Our biggest fear is restriction. And our mind, the moment it thinks restriction, like Monday's coming around, Sunday's like, ah. If we see it as we're going on holiday, we must restrict. When we go on holiday, we then gorge. So that was a little bit of a rant, I get that. But I'm really hoping that that makes sense. That actually, you can begin to change this. You haven't got to be relying on a plan or a program. And the key is to start to tune in and listen. We have to start from the basics here. We have to start from the very, very bottom and work our way up. This isn't about overnight transformation. This is very, very much about listening. For this first week, this is going to be all about listening. So the first thing that you're going to be writing down is, what are your trigger foods and drinks? Now you can do this. Look at that little face. Now you can, am I sharing my screen? Can you see the slides, guys? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Fantastic. I just had a little panic then. I thought, oh my God, imagine if the whole way through it was just me. Okay, so look at his little face. So I want you to recognize, awesome, thank you. Literally, my heart was like, what are your trigger foods? And when I say trigger foods, I mean, like, once you've had a little bit, you then can't stop. Like, what are those trigger foods? And then what are your trigger drinks? Now, this might be that you have a coffee, but you always want to have a biscuit with it. Or if you go out for a tea or a coffee, you have a piece of cake. Or maybe you have a Coca-Cola. I have coached so many people that have been addicted to Coca-Cola. I should make that quite clear. And yeah, anyway, so people that are addicted to Coca-Cola, it is, I'm going to say it as addictive to a physical drug that you would take that is completely illegal on the market. Honestly, yeah, addicted to Pepsi Max. I'm literally going to say, like, it's one of the most addictive things is sugary drinks. So we've got biscuits, sugar, tea and coffee, caffeine, pork, sugar. Yeah, well done, guys. Keep sharing. Chocolate, although I'm getting better at stopping. Fantastic. Also, I'm going to get you to begin to go back to the beginning of this question and think, what are your trigger foods when you are emotional? Now, when I say emotional, I don't just mean floods of tears. I mean happy. I mean sad. What foods are you triggered to want to go to? They tend to be, have a little think, but they tend to be the ones that you've just listed. Tends to be the ones that you can't get enough of. Can you see the link here? So I wanted to do it that way round, where what are your trigger foods? Once you stop, you can't, once you pop, you can't stop. But are they, have a little think now, are they your go-to foods when you feel emotional? Some people it is, some people it isn't, but I'm going to recommend that you start to, we want to get all the way down to that root cause of what's that trigger, because I don't want to be saying, don't have biscuits, don't have Pepsi Max, don't have chocolate, like that's it. But if we can get down to the bottom and get a handle on that emotional trigger, you can then freely have some chocolate and you don't feel like you've got to keep going. You can have a glass of Pepsi Max every other day or something and don't have to feel guilty about it and need to finish off the bottle. I think when I'm happy, then I think I can have a treat. Never thought of emotional eating as when you're happy. Oh, wow, think about this then. Thank you for sharing that, Chris. But imagine, okay, this is my own little thing. I've never read this anywhere before. It's my own little personal belief. Let me know if you resonate with this. But from being a kid, when it's your birthday, what are you gifted with? cake. You are sung, you are made a fuss of, it is sweet. Look at the little doggy on the screen. It is like all about the sweets, and it is all about you. Then when it's Valentine's Day, what do you get? You get chocolate, represents love. You go out for a meal, you discuss your love life, that your lust and love and affection over a glass of wine or food, a dessert. When you go out with your friends to celebrate something, let's go out for a meal or let's get a takeaway. But actually, I'm going to say that from such a young age, when you're good, let's go, it's Friday, well done. Oh, you got student of the week. Let's go to McDonald's. Let's get you an ice cream. Let's get you a lolly. Like, we are programmed from such a young age that happiness actually is triggered towards the emotional need for food. Does that make sense? Yeah. And the exact same thing and we always joke about it, but when you feel emotional, some people aren't like this, but a lot of people, we want to sit down, we want to feel good. So what's the quickest way to get our serotonin and dopamine? Remember serotonin from the gut? Ice cream, sweets, sugar. Our body at one point has linked that connection. We probably wouldn't even be able to remember at what point in time, but somewhere along the line, your body may have had a direct link from, holy crap, I felt awful. Now you've ingested this. I've had a big release of serotonin. Oh, the heavens have opened. Direct link with feeling like shit, opening up the Ben and Jerry's. Feel like crap, open up the Ben and Jerry's. I've just seen here, smoking. It's exactly the same thing. It's that linked up emotion. So can we see, but some people use exercise. Some people use running, exercise. Now we want to say that's probably a healthier thing, but some people get addicted to that. So it's all about managing and recognizing and honoring that is your trigger. Then this is where the Route 66 work comes in, which is what we're leading up to. It's like the big lead up. Because once you know all of this stuff, you then have that tool to begin to change one thing at a time. Focus, change that one thing at a time. So always chocolate. If I've had a good day, celebrate. Yeah, bad day, chocolate. If I'm honest, who said that? Jen, I'm right there with you. Chocolate is if I go round to the girls' house, they are like, oh my God, let's get a wine. I've had a rubbish day. I'm there, box of Maltesers. You can keep your wine. I will much prefer to indulge the calories in chocolate. But it's having the ability to tune into your stomach and be like, I've had enough. I feel okay. And it's not that reliance. So fantastic. Okay. Then I want you to start to think what you can replace those trigger foods with this week. Now, I'm going to obviously say, have a look over these. Now, I'm going to say, it might not be that fun, but if you were to go downstairs to my kitchen, you will find a big pineapple, because I know on a nighttime, my old habit used to be, if I felt emotional, whether that's good, whether that's overwhelmed, whether it's excited, I'd be like, I want something sweet. Pineapple, alkaline. It's fun to chop. You actually get to do something and prep it, or if you want to buy a ready-made one, then you can. Or melon or strawberries and yogurt with a bit of granola on top. Like, have fun. Make some jelly with fruit in for the kids. Like, what can you replace them with? Start to have a think, and you can start to write them down, whether that's now or later. Now we're going to be moving on. We've got 10 minutes left, guys. We're going to be moving on to our evening routine, talking about food. So what is your typical self-talk on an evening? So we're slightly moving on to a different topic now, coming back onto what we were on about last week. So I'm going to say now, clear your mind, take a big deep breath in. And exhale, good. So now imagine that when you are getting yourself ready for bed, or beforehand, like around that 9-10 o'clock mark, depending on your bedtime, what is your typical self-talk like on an evening? Is it, well done, you've had a great day today, you feel really empowered, you've had an awesome day, you're going to sleep really, really well tonight? Or is it, God, I should have got more done today, can't believe he said that to me, I can't believe I left that at work undone, all my anxiety is really like, have a think before you go to bed tonight. That'd be the ideal to do this. What is your typical self-talk like on an evening? Then I want you to recognize what is your current evening routine. Now, if you're thinking, I don't have a routine, you do. I promise you, you will do. Whether it's a routine that's a not routine, if that makes sense, or it's very sporadic, but you will still have a routine. Whether that is you sit on your phone and then you watch a certain program, and then you might drink something or eat something, you might brush your teeth, then you get in bed, you might use your phone again or read or do something, but you will have an evening routine. And I want you to become really aware of that and write it down. Then describe in 3 words. I'm going to answer the yogurt question. I'm trying not to read it because I'm in flow. So describe in 3 words how you feel before going to bed. So how do you feel before going to bed or before going to sleep? Is that relaxed, calm, and loved? Or is it stress, anxious, and like God, it can be anything. It hasn't got to be one or the other. It might be a mix of emotions. Then I want you to picture how you would like to feel on an evening before going to bed. Describe that below and any particular activities that you could envision yourself doing that would promote how you want to feel. Does that make sense? So can I just get a big yes if that makes sense? So we want you to get a picture of how you would like to feel and start to think what makes you feel like that. Because I could say meditating before bed helps me to feel relaxed. But you might want to feel calm and loved. Therefore, you might want to read a love novel. Can you see how I can't tell you what to do? But if you, fantastic guys, well done. But if you go on to the next page, these are just some examples of a evening routine. It is just as important as your morning routine, but I'm going to say more of a challenge. I'm only being honest. Don't obviously take it on as gospel, but I personally find through coaching and through my experience, slightly more of a challenge to commit to, but I like to call that out and say, at least you then know. Like, do you know what I mean? If it's going to be slightly uncomfortable, you've just got to know that and you've got to work through it, because your energy levels are slightly more depleted by the end of the day. So your focus might not be on, you might be like, well, this is what I want to do. You might not be as motivated. You've got to work through that. It is one of those. I'm calling a spade there. Here are some great evening rituals. So have a switch off time. Personally, I set an alarm on my phone that says it's like 10 o'clock, start to switch shit off, because otherwise, I don't know if any of you have ever messaged me dead late. At one point, if it was 1 a.m., I would literally reply back because my brain just wouldn't switch off. Now I am so much more honoring for myself and others that I have a switch off point. I would highly, highly recommend this. A very little blue light. When I say blue light, that's laptop, phone, and TV, for at least 30 minutes before you go to sleep. So if your bedtime is 10:30, switch off that blue stuff from 10 o'clock. If it's 9:30, switch it off from 9. If it's 12 o'clock, 11:30. Does that make sense? Yeah, your evening routine fully supports your morning routine. I suggest drinking a herbal tea or something relaxing, especially if you're a little like myself when you want to nibble or eat something or drink something fizzy or, I don't know, have a hot chocolate or something. Having a relaxing herbal tea kind of feels good, and it's a great thing to do because it helps to obviously calm you down. It's great herbs. Great for implementing as a habit to layer over if you're used to having a certain thing on a nighttime. Set out your clothes for the next day. Now, remember when we spoke last week about your energy fuel? If you lay out your clothes for the next day, it's one less thing to think about, helps to reduce decision fatigue. Great also if you want to work out in the morning, get your gym stuff out ready, you're good to go. Pack your bag or anything that you need to ready for the morning as well. So this is great if you've got kids, whatever else, if it's your gym bag, if it's your work bag, pack your bag ready to go. You wake up without that drumming of a to-do list there. Write out your to-do list for the next day. So what I mean by to-do list is basically it's a fancy to-do list, but as you tick it off, you say, ta-da! Something I've done for years now, and it bloody works. But if you write this out before you go to bed, there's some scientific research behind this. It basically, your brain will then filter and put into order what you need to do for the next day whilst you sleep. So it actually helps you to wake up in a more like productive mindset, because as you're sleeping, it knows what you're doing the next day. It doesn't have to stress and worry about the what ifs and the, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. Does this make sense? Write out your gratitudes and or journal on the day. If you were to commit to just 5 minutes before you go to sleep to journaling or writing down what you're grateful for, holy crap, your life will change. That's it. I could give you a million reasons why, but I know that you guys that are on this course know the benefit of gratitude. If you don't, I'm going to suggest that you just YouTube it. Just YouTube the benefits of gratitude and you will be inundated. Google the benefits of gratitude. Ask any mindset coach. Come to me. I'll tell you all the different reasons why gratitude are so powerful. Yeah, I call it medicine for the mind. And read before you go to bed. Now, you haven't got to do all of these things. You might want to start with one thing. Like you will always hear us say in the Route 66, pick one thing and work on it. Even if you pick 3 things. So say you're going to start to introduce the switch off time, set an alarm, limit the blue time, have a herbal tea, set out your clothes for the next day. Done. Start to build on that. I can guarantee if you were to start doing these on a night time and tick them off, bloody hell, you won't recognize yourself. You won't recognize your life. Like it sounds really, really dramatic, but it's these things that set you up for happiness and success. Guaranteed. Done. Like I promise you. But if you start implementing one by one, see how you feel, see what works for you. You might be like, herbal tea, no freaking chance. But the gratitude might work for you. Now, I like having warm milk in the evening, but is that not so good? Jen, if that works for you, that works for you. Yeah, like if you find that works for like a healthy diet, and it helps you to sleep, absolutely. I'd probably suggest trying like a Horlicks or something, like a light Horlicks, or experiment. Try something new every night this week. So with nutmeg. So I personally love almond milk or oat milk. Oatly milk is amazing. And it's really, really low in fat. Like it's the lowest in fat. It's the most sustainable producing milk drink that's out there, because it doesn't need much land to do it. So it's the most environmentally friendly one, basically. So oat milk with just oat milk. I just love oat milk. But oat milk with some matcha powder in is beautiful. Bit of matcha powder. I'm going to say try loads of different things every single night this week. Have a bit of an experiment. Make it fun. Everything that we do is all about making it fun. Did you say that there's going to be a new revised tick list? Do you mean for the 66 days? If so, yes. There's not going to be a revised one, but we're going to be implementing it at the end of this course, or towards the end. Yes. So in 3 weeks' time, we're going to be implementing. Loads and loads of suggestions there. Well done, guys. Now here is your bonus top tip. Before drifting to sleep tonight, revisit your day backwards and recognize at least 3 blessings or gratitudes from your day. Again, there's some research behind this, but when you revisit your day backwards, 1, you can't really be interrupted by many other thoughts because it takes a certain part of your cognitive brain to reverse things, okay? You're also then highlighting your blessings and gratitudes for the day. When you fall asleep with those being the prominent things in your mind, you will guarantee to have a better sleep. You're drifting into a sleep in a very calm, relaxed, grateful state. What you fall asleep thinking about, you're basically marinating in. So marinate your mind in all of that good stuff. Beta glucan in oats is so good for us. Yes. Again, I don't mind taking a picture of the oats. The oat milk, it's about £1.50 from, I always get different ones on offer. Personally, I love oat milk in coffee instead of milk. Coconut milk's lovely. Cashew milk, beautiful, really creamy. All of these different, try experimenting around with them. And ruminating, that's the one. I'm on a blinking roll tonight, aren't I, guys? Jesus. Okay, and lastly, and then I'm going to recommend that you, once you've had a read over, once you've experimented, the evening routine that resonates with me for the next 7 days is what I'm going to recommend that you do. And then why are you committing to working on your morning and evening routines? What benefit will they have on your day and life? This is whatever resonates with you. So write down whatever you feel would be the benefit from your morning and evening routine. So the next 7 days, your little task is obviously complete this workbook, week 5. Be mindful of your eating habits and triggers. Notice what foods elevate your mood and energy and which foods lower your mood and energy, and how you feel emotionally if, this isn't for everyone, but if you find yourself going to eat from an emotional place. Now, if you want to write this out in a journal, I'm going to say bloody go for it. Like, I don't want to overload you guys. Yeah. I don't want to say, do this, do that, do this. Those that this really resonates with and you're thinking, oh my God, this is exactly what I needed. This week is my week. Does that make sense? Everyone will have a different topic that really, really resonates with you. But if you're thinking this is the thing that I need to work on, I'm going to suggest that you get a journal for this week. Re-listen to it again, get a journal, make your notes, and keep it in your kitchen. This is what I have to do. This is what I do. And if I find myself wanting something, I will write down, like, ask why. Why do I feel that I need that? What are my triggers? What can I have instead? What did I enjoy? What did the family like? Christine, I've been waiting for this week. Fantastic. Really, really great to hear. So, okay, I'm going to read yours in a second, Em. So continue to listen to your Great Day morning meditation in the morning. That's only 5 minutes. And the key thing is replaying your day and recognizing your gratitudes before you fall asleep. Now, as much as you might be thinking that is so blinking simple, if you can implement this as your habit before falling asleep, you are instigating and really, really drumming up those alpha waves. You're going to be waking up in that alpha state. Imagine if you've already done that to-do list or to-do list the day before, your clothes are out ready. You have food prepped or know what you're going to be eating. You're waking up and having that lemon water. You are introducing, you're recognizing what you're saying to yourselves. If you start to now have a think over what we've covered in just the last 5 weeks, can you begin to see how these are the foundations to true success and happiness? Give me a hell yes if you're like, oh my God, this is starting to piece together. I get so excited because this is years of, it makes me want to cry, of studying, working on it myself, doing courses, learning to coach all of this stuff. Like, I mean ridiculous amounts of learning and working with so many different people to recognize that these are the foundations to a long, sustaining, happy mindset and building what you consider to be success. Yes, we've got a big yes. Woohoo, yes. Awesome, guys. I'm going to say we've gone like 2 minutes over, which is cool. But I'm going to say if you are done, go and nail this. Go and fill out this now. Now you're like in the zone and do this evening routine tonight, whatever feels right for you. Hell yes, I'm so excited about all that can. Yes, yes. Really, really, really great to hear, Chris. So go and jump off this if you need to now, guys. Go and take action. I'm just going to finish by saying any questions, feel free to ask. Emmy, or Em, my nighttime routine is so tight. I absolutely enjoy it and always look forward to bedtime, but I'm struggling with getting up because I'm working on my smoking habit, not smoking first thing, but I feel like there's no point getting up. Nothing to look forward to. What can I do? Okay, so I want you to message on here right now, Em. This might help other people. What else in your life do you enjoy? What else do you enjoy? And I'm going to challenge you and say, what's your favorite song? What do you love listening to? What's your favorite smoothie? What is your favorite YouTuber? What is your favorite book? What is your favorite anything? Like, give me all of those. Music, food, book, YouTube. I'm just thinking quick, simple things. It takes what? Say 6 minutes to, depends on if you roll it or buy it packed. Have a cigarette, say 6 minutes. All you're looking to do is fill those 6 minutes. Like, it may seem like a mind boggle of 100 different things. You've got to think about it before and after. What we need to do is layer that habit. So any other questions, guys? Feel free to ask. Sorry, I've just got a big whiff of whatever my husband's cooking from downstairs. The yogurt. Let me scroll back up to the yogurt. Good point. Okay, so if you are still watching this, fantastic. If you need to jump off, please jump off. Are you actually replacing the habit if the replacement food is still sweet? Yes, is a question. So unless you want to, and I would recommend working with a nutritionist or a coach. If you are massively looking at switching from, say, all your food habits, I'm answering M's first, to not having, if that makes sense, because that's just like depriving your brain and you've not got the support or replacement there. So I would suggest that for you guys, for what we're doing in a group capacity, yes, you are going to be replacing. If, for instance, it's the chocolate, trying to replace it with the fresh pineapple or apple and peanut butter, or as we're going to come on to, some yogurt and granola, like that is always going to be more beneficial to you than eating the crap, if that makes sense. So when you talk about yogurt, do you eat low-fat yogurt? It always seems to be full of sugar. Personally, I don't go for the low-fat ones. I used to, but I now have dairy-free. So I've gone completely dairy-free. So I'm going to suggest, again, this is very, very much down to your preference. I can only give you a recommendation. Whole yogurts, such as the one that's got a big 0 on it, like it's like Greek yogurt, but it's like 0 fat. I'm going to say that's not too bad. Like, have a look at the ingredients. This is a little rule of thumb. Check the ingredients. If it's got a ton of ingredients that you can't read or pronounce, like, just avoid it, basically. Because if I was to say to you, okay, drink this, it's got chloroxide in, it's got hematoglobulin, it's got fagad in, and it's got macedonian gum in. I'm literally making these up. You'd be like, no way, get that away from me. If I was to read out what is on the labels of Pepsi Max, what's on the labels of Haribo, and actually show you in a Petri dish of those chemicals and sugars, you'd probably throw up at the thought of eating it. So sometimes it's a case of, I'm only being honest, sometimes it's a case of really stripping it back and weaning it bit by bit. So if you're used to eating, I don't know, chocolate mousses, like, go to the lower sugar yogurts. And then from the lower sugar, this is what I've done, and then from the lower sugar yogurts, go to the natural yogurts. From natural yogurts, my suggestion would then be, go to dairy-free yogurts. But again, like, listen to your body, see what works for you. See it as a gradual thing. That's okay. Work to your pace. If you're an all or nothing, go all in if that works for you. if that works for you. So guys, I'm going to love you and leave you there. Okay. So, okay, very, very quickly with regards to the yogurts. Okay, guys, I'm going to love you and leave you there. I'm just going to stop the recording. So any questions, feel free to head over to the Facebook group and ask any questions there. So thank you so, so much, and see you next week.